Hi kids! Today's One Cool Earth lesson is called 6 Plant Part Party, and we're going to learn about what parts of plants that we eat. Time to put on our thinking caps and learn what the 6 plant parts are, what we eat from each category of plant part, and what those plant parts do for the plant. We're also going to see how we can make a taco composed of all 6 plant parts. We're going to start with our vocab, and remember, while I say each word, you can write it down in your garden journal to make sure you remember it. The first of our plant parts that we're going to talk about are leaves, and leaves help plants get energy from the sun. Next are stems, and stems help to hold the plant upright above the ground. This helps to make sure that the plant doesn't rot by touching the ground. It also helps the plant reach up tall to get to more sunlight. Roots are underground and they help the plant to get water and nutrients from the soil. They also make sure that the plant has a strong base to help it stand up really tall. Why don't you try to draw a plant in your garden journal and make sure that you can see the leaves, the stem, and the roots. Now add a flower to your plant. Flowers attract pollinators which help the plant to make seeds. And fruits are what flowers turn into once they're pollinated. Those fruits serve as a package to hold the seeds. The fruit can protect the seeds while they're developing, and they are also important because they attract birds and other animals to eat the seeds. You wouldn't necessarily think that's a good thing, but if an animal eats the seeds and then they walk somewhere else and poop it out later, then that plant can find a whole new home. That is because seeds are like the babies of the plant world. They are what goes in the ground and then eventually turns into a small plant or a seedling. Then it'll grow all the way up to a big plant that makes flowers and eventually its own seeds. Let's take some time to brainstorm what plant parts we eat. Do you think that you eat stems? Well, if you eat celery, then you eat stems. You're also eating stems when you eat asparagus, bamboo shoots, fennel. All sorts of plants contain edible stems. What about roots? Do you think you eat any of those? Well, carrots, radishes, beets, kohlrabi, all sorts of plants have roots that we eat, and we dig them up because they're so tasty. Write down in your garden journal what roots you've tried before. Leaves are one of the most common parts of plants that we eat. We eat leaves like spinach, lettuce, kale, arugula, cabbage, chard, and some herbs like parsley and cilantro. Write down in your garden journal the last time you ate leaves. What about flowers? The flowers we eat don't always look like the flowers you might picture in your head. For example, broccoli and cauliflower are flowers that just haven't bloomed yet. We can also eat flowers that have bloomed, like nasturtiums and chrysanthemums and calendula. I bet you've eaten a lot of fruit lately. Examples of fruits you can eat are apples, oranges, grapes, berries, peaches, cucumbers, tomatoes, and all sorts of things that hold seeds inside of them. So some things that you might think of as a vegetable are actually a fruit if they have seeds inside of them, like tomatoes. Our sixth and final plant part is seeds. And we eat lots of seeds. Some are obvious and some are not. For example, sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds are seeds. And that's obvious because they have seeds in their name. But some things like nuts are seeds, and we might not always realize it. Beans are also seeds. So every time you have any sort of beans, like pinto beans, black beans, or refried beans, those are all seeds. Also, many of our grains are seeds. So even when you're eating flour, that originally came from a seed. I want you to write down one thing that you've eaten that you didn't realize was a seed. All right, now that we know what the 6 plant parts do and how we eat them, it's time for you to hear from your garden educator for an activity.
Hello, it's Garden Educator Rowan here. I'm here at Santa Margarita Elementary School, and today for our activity we're going to be making a salad out of all of the 6 plant parts that we talked about. So remember, the plant parts that we talked about were leaves, stems, roots, flowers, fruit, and seed. And all of these parts come together to make a plant. So a lot of the foods that we eat and the fruits and the vegetables that we eat are these different plant parts. So I'm going to be going over some of the plant parts that I'm going to use in my salad, but you don't have to use these exact plant parts, you can use other plant parts. But as long as you're identifying which part of the plant that you're using, that's what's important. So for my leaves, I'm going to be using these beautiful greens that I got from the garden. I have some chard leaves, I have some lettuce leaves, and I have some kale leaves. So that's going to be the base of my salad. These are the leaves that are going to be going into my salad. For a stem, I'm going to be using the stem of this celery. So as you can see, this is a piece of celery. So all the way up here, this is the part that we usually eat. This is all the stem of the plant. Up at the top are the leaves of the plant. These pieces you can eat, but we usually don't. We usually eat the stem of this part of the plant. Another stem that I'm going to be eating from is this broccoli stem. I'm going to chop up a little bit of this broccoli stem and eat some of that broccoli stem as well. The other thing that is on broccoli that we eat is the flower part. So this top part, that's the part that people usually eat. That's actually the flower of the plant, which is pretty cool. Some other flowers that I'm going to be putting in my salad are these edible calendula flowers. So there are some different flowers that are bright and have petals like this that are edible. Another type of flower that is edible and is common in California is nasturtium flower. So those are like a little bit spicy, they kind of have a peppery taste, and those are another edible flower. I'm going to be using for my roots, I'm going to be using a carrot and a beet. Some other roots that you could use are turnips or radishes. Those are all the root part. So this grows underground, and at the top there's leafy green part. But underneath is the part that we eat, the roots of the plant. For my fruit, I'm going to be actually doing 4 different fruits in my salad. So I'm going to be using a cucumber, a tomato, an apple, and as a little bit of a dressing, I'm going to squeeze some lemon on top. So these are all fruits of the plant. And remember, a fruit encloses all of the seeds inside of it. So inside of each of these fruits are all of the seeds to the plants. And last but not least, what I'm going to be using as my seed in my salad is quinoa. So a lot of things that we call in cooking grains are actually seeds of plants. So here is a dried quinoa plant, and inside these, if you crumple these, all of the little quinoa seeds are going to fall out. And all of these little seeds that fall out when you dry the plant, that's the part that we cook and we use to eat. So some other seeds that you might want to add to your salad might be rice. So you could cook some rice and put it in. That's a seed that you could add to your salad. You could add lentils. That's a bean that is actually a seed of that plant. You could also add sunflower seeds or chia seeds or other seeds that you can just eat straight out like that. Okay? So once you've figured out all of the different 6 plant parts that you're going to use in your salad, the next thing you got to do is we're going to chop them up into little pieces. So please, before you start this step, make sure to ask for an adult's help in using a knife, and make sure to have a nice surface to be able to cut on. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to cut all of these different plant parts into little bite-sized pieces that'll be good for a salad. Okay, so once you and an adult have chopped all of your plant parts into small pieces like this, you can begin to assemble your salad into a salad bowl. So we want to make sure that we have really clean hands when we're doing this. And I'm going to start adding my different plant parts into my salad bowl so we can eat a yummy salad. So I'm going to be adding my leaves, which is my kale, my lettuce, and my chard. So I'm going to add all my leaves in there. Next, I am going to add my flowers, which is my broccoli flower, and these orange calendula flowers. I'm going to be adding my roots, which is my carrots and my beets. I'm going to be adding my apples, my cucumbers, and my tomatoes, which are all my fruits. And then I'm going to be adding my stems, which are my broccoli stems and my celery. And then last but not least, I'm going to be adding my seeds. So I'm going to add a scoop of this quinoa, which is my seed in my salad. Add a couple scoops of that on top. And then as my dressing, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice, which is from a fruit, the lemon fruit. Squeeze that all on top. Now on my salad, I'm going to be adding a little bit of olive oil as well. If you have something else that you like to put on top of your salad, please feel free to do that. So here's my 6-plant part salad, which is really beautiful. It has all of the different plant parts. It's really colorful, and it's going to be really yummy. So I'm excited to eat this for lunch. So I hope that everybody enjoys making their own 6-part plant salad, and get creative with it. Try different plants out. Try and think about which part of the plant am I eating when I'm eating this plant. Okay? So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy.
Make sure that you can answer all of these questions. Write them down in your garden journal and do your best.